Hi there, this is Monica Ray, your encourager in chief, and welcome to the TheBestYou.Site Podcast, where we showcase ordinary people accomplishing extraordinary things. Here we share transformative stories, and today we have the inspiring story of a lioness, yes, I said a lioness, who fought for her dreams, leads with passion, and even found love in later life. It's time for the TheBestYou.Site Podcast.
Are you following us on social media? Follow The Best You Site at The Best You Site on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Thanks for your support.
From sheltering foster children to founding an adult daycare. And that's where I am now. So if you hear clients, if you hear noises, she fit me in the middle of all that she does. And you're hearing her laughing now, but she makes sure that her clients are taken care of. So I am here with her, making sure, looking at 4 cameras and everybody else to make sure everything's okay. Brenda Triplett has always protected, sponsored, and provided care to some of the most vulnerable. And then came love when she least expected it. Welcome to the podcast, Brenda.
Thank you, Miss Monica, and I would be remiss if I didn't tell you what an honor it is to sit here with you, and I appreciate this opportunity so much. I don't know how or why you chose me, but I'm thankful just to be in your presence, and I really do appreciate this.
I tell you what, I don't know what you're talking about because you have an inspiring story, as our audience is getting ready to find out. You are a beautiful, mature woman and a newlywed.
Yeah.
Tell us about meeting, and you're still giggling. Tell us about meeting and marrying this special, special guy in later life.
Oh, I tell you, Monica, I feel like Anthony Tony was the light into this COVID mess. I met Tony in the middle of COVID, and my family laughed and said only I could find somebody in the middle of COVID. But as a matter of fact, it's coming up on 2 years that we first laid eyes on each other. I met Tony and knew instantly there was something about him that attracted me to him. I think later part of it had to do with the fact that he's also very nourishing. He nourished me. He moved here from Rockford, Illinois. He had a wife that was an invalid, and he took care of her. Unfortunately, she passed 6 months after they moved here. He moved here to give her, he thought, better care because where they were had kind of put a plateau where they wouldn't really take care of him, or he felt like they weren't giving the best. But unfortunately, 6 months after he moved here, she passed. I met him first laid eyes on him November 14th, 2019. We dated a year. He proposed to the day on November the 14th of 20. And we got married May the 14th of this year. And yes, he is a wonderful blessing in my life, both physical, spiritual, the whole 9 yards, because he is a Christian man. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And so I said, ladies, be careful what you ask for. God will give it to you. I think I was back and forth. Lord, I want to be married. No, Lord, I don't. And when I really was serious, I just wanted somebody to really enhance my life. You complete, but without a man, but Tony helped enhance my life. So I prayed for a relationship to do just that. And it was in 2 weeks later that I actually met him. And as they said, the rest of the story.
Are you serious? 2 weeks later, after you prayed, then Tony entered into your life.
Exactly.
Entered into your life.
Within 2 weeks. Now, grant you, I'd asked for it a couple of times prior to that, and
that's okay too.
I'm the Lord, no, I'm not ready. And because I think a lot of us desire to have that mate. I did. I really did at that point. And I tell you, and I contributed some of it to the fact that I knew I wasn't ready prior to meeting Tony by attending a lot of the singles conference, Christian conference, and people kid me. You've gone to 20 years, you've gone to conference and you haven't found anybody. But I met a host of wonderful friends. I learned a lot. I learned after about the third conference that I was not married material. My act wasn't together. So for that, I tell anybody, if you don't have to be, but do it in your time when it's right. And when I met Tony, I knew it was right.
That's right.
I knew it
You
was
know,
right.
that's amazing. And that has so many life lessons about relationships just in there. So maybe you need to be teaching a class about this.
Oh no.
You need to be teaching the class because not only have you talked the talk, you've walked the walk. So this story makes us just go, oh, how precious.
I go all myself because I sometimes think, Lord, how did this happen? I look back 2 years, I'm like, here I am, I was married now, and I have a Christian husband, and we have some of the same things in common, but we also have a lot opposite. He's Mr. Clean Freak. I'm lay it there and I get it when I feel like it. So we enhance each other. He make me want to be a little bit neater, and I guess he realized he don't have to be as neat as he is because you can live with a little dirt on the floor.
That's right.
So, and we compliment
that's
each
right.
other.
We came from dirt. We're going back to dirt.
Hello.
So it's okay. One important thing that was also very special about you is that, yes, we want to gush over Tony because he is worth gushing over.
Yes, he is.
But you also said that this conversation would not be complete unless you talked about the power of dreaming, because you didn't want this just to be a love story.
Right.
You believe that we can achieve who we can be without having dreams. Having dreams and choosing our own path, exploring our own path. The floor is yours, sister girl. Educate us.
Well, of course, you have to have goals. In order to move forward, you have to have goals and dreams for yourself. And I tell anybody, sit down and get to know you. Sit down and get to know what makes your heart beat a little bit faster, what gets your blood flowing good, and then go for it. Go for it. I knew on early in life that I had a passion for taking care of people. I was blessed that longevity lives in my family, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge, I had grandmother that lived to be 95, great grandfather that lived to be 105. So I've always cared about older people and caring for them. So that I knew right off that was one of the passions that I had, and taking care of people. So that's why I went into nursing. But when nursing became no longer what I desire as far as taking care of people, I went to my first love, which was caring for the older people. And that's why I had this dream of opening up a daycare that would take care of them while their loved ones worked, or just give them a break. So I was, the initial dream was, are you crazy? You can't do this. And then I remember my favorite verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. And it was a long haul. And even after getting into this particular dream, I sometimes wonder why, just like the marriage, how did I get to this point? Well, in the business, I'd be like, how did I get to this point? But God, is all I can say. That's everything from raising my children to starting this business to everything that I do in life. When I look back, it seemed like that was a part of it. It was destined to happen because that was a dream that I had. I wanted to do this, and I set forth to do it. So I tell anybody, don't limit yourself. If you have dreams that you want, and be careful who you share those dreams with, because people can, are you crazy? You gonna do what? And even now, being in business 4 years, I have people, and when I get frustrated, and I do sometimes, well, I don't know why you did it in the first place. So be careful. Dream by all means. But be careful who you share your dreams with, because people will step on it, and you'll find yourself doing what you think they want you to do instead of what you do. So dream. There's nothing wrong with dream. Make the sky your limit, because with God, there's no limit. And so go for it. Is all I have to say. And sit down and know who you are and what you want, and go for it.
Absolutely. I wrote a book at 57 years old and started a company. So talk about dreaming. I think that what you say is amazing. It's amazing, and so needs to be said to so many people who think they may be too old, or never, or you may not have what you need, or whatever.
God will provide.
The Lord will provide. If He did for Abraham, He will for us.
Amen.
Now tell us about these amazing trailblazing children that you raised.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm blessed. I am truly blessed with biologically 2 children. I have a daughter that's, both of my children are in education. My daughter is administration in Shelby County School. And she's doing a phenomenal job. I mean, both of them are. My son's a teacher in Murfreesboro. and a coach. And so I am proud. I am proud of both of them in the area they're pursuing. I don't know why they did education because their mama can't. I don't even like to read, but
Miss Business Owner. Okay.
I do. I have
and nurse. Okay.
I tell you, but I only because I look. I skip a word, read a word. But anyway, I am so proud of both of my children as well as my grandchildren. My son is married, and I have 3 grandson. Tyler's 21, Donovan is 17, will be graduating this year, and then we got a 3-year-old that slipped in on us, but he's a blessing in our life. So those are my biological children, and I've raised, or I've had a host of foster kids in my home.
We're gonna talk about that.
And it's just been a joy. One particular one, I told you about Candace. And that's out in Texas now, but I think she really want to come home. And I tell her the same road that took you out there will bring you back. But I love taking care of people that need it, you know.
And you always have, and I've known you for years and years. And I remember when I was having a medical crisis, you hugged me and loved on me. And then you said, okay, let's come up with a plan to help you live with this. Because it's not going away. So let's come up with a plan. And it is genuine. And I have seen your sense of humor help people in all kinds of ways. And it's just amazing. We'll be right back after we learn, after this, so that we can learn more from the dynamic Brenda Triplett.
Learning to Splash, Conquering the Life You Have Been Given, is a heart-wrenching story written by Monica Ray. This book takes you on an intimate, decades-long journey of one woman's battle with watching her only child confront debilitating chronic illness while dealing with feelings of inadequacy, guilt, depression, and helplessness. Learning to Splash, Conquering the Life You Have Been Given is available at TheBestYou.Site.
We are back at TheBestYou.Site Podcast, enjoying a wonderful conversation with Brenda Triplett. And I have a new name for her. Of course, she's a lioness, but I also call her a dream queen. You let me know that your dad was in the military and was deployed multiple times. You let me know that growing up had lots of ups and downs.
Yes.
How did your backstory shape Brenda?
Oh, Monica. Oh, yes. Being brought up with in the military, I had the advantage of that was to travel. You get to meet people and you learn to adjust because you may be somewhere for 3-4 years and then you uprooted somewhere else. My father was very strict. He was military MP and he brought me up as such. But the good part about that is there was 2 sides to the story. I knew another side with the discipline strict and also knew the lenient side. With my mom, which I would come during the summer and be with my mom. So it taught me a lot because, you know, we want to see life through rose-colored glasses, you know, and while I knew my father loved me, the relationship I had in his home was not rose-colored glasses. You know, I saw physical, psychological, mental abuse, you know, and couple under that was love. And I never could understand how could someone love someone and misuse them like that. So I, at an early age, I knew I wasn't going to take no mess from no man. I was going to set my standards so that I wouldn't have to compromise my morals and my values to feed my children. And I kind of think that's one reason my stepmother took some of that is because that was me and my sister, and she was thinking about our welfare. Well, I knew as when my kid's father, my husband, former husband, and I weren't going to get along, that I wasn't going to compromise being there just for the sake of the kids. So I, again, stepped out on faith and realized that life, you take life, you know, they had that old cliche, if you get lemon, make lemonade. Well, I decided at a young age, I want lemonade with sugar in it. You know, I just didn't want lemonade. I want the best of it. And that would include some sugar and some ice. So,
and I have a friend who tells me that not lemonade, but lemon pie.
Well,
so,
I'm telling you.
Uh-huh.
So based on seeing that situation and both of them, like I said, both the good and bad and the ugly, I know that shaped me into the lady I am now because I know there was better things other than the relationship that my stepmother was living with my father for whatever reason. So again, ladies, want the best, or people here want the best for yourself, and don't be afraid to go for it. I'm glad to a degree that my father was the way he was, because it taught me a lot on that end. And I'm grateful the way my mother was, because that taught me a lot on that end. You give and take on both. I wish I could say I had that rose colored, beautiful little childhood. Oh no, I got beat. And when I said beat, I mean not abuse beats like they talk about today. These parents didn't play. You stepped out of line, you got put back in line, and for that I'm thankful. So it's not criticizing my father. He was who he was. He did, I think, what he thought was best at that given time. And considering the some of the stuff he went through, then I now understand why he reacted the way he did. Not justifying anything, but I understood. I understood it, and I could still love him in spite of. And so I tell anybody, don't let your situation define you. Step out of it and find the good part of it, and dwell on that and not on the bad. Don't let an abusive situation define who you are. You deserve better, and go for what you know you deserve.
And so those kinds of things that you dealt with really gave you everything from discipline to dreams to backbone to faith to many of the things that you needed to move forward, and you weren't afraid to try.
I'm not going to say I wasn't afraid, but I was more afraid not to try.
That is so important. You were so afraid not to try.
Exactly.
Audience, did you get that? She was too afraid not to try. That's a lesson in itself. So you were a nurse for over 30 years, where you learned all these skills that I've seen you use with different people. I've seen you minister to different people in different circumstances. Everything from taking care of your heart to helping with babies to deliveries to you name it. Giving good information, prenatal information, postpartum. I've seen you do it all. And one thing that I think is so beautiful is, as you mentioned before, fostering kids. We see the billboards and the commercials with the children needing help, and you answered that call for foster children. And what's remarkable is that you told me that you wanted kids that needed extra. Where in the world did that come from?
I wish I could tell you where it came from, Monica. I don't know. I just know that everybody want to get, generally when you think about adoption or foster care, they want the good kids that, no issue, blah, blah. I wanted kids that really needed me, that needed extra, that had seen the rough side of life, but now could see, like myself, a better side of life. So I chose to go to a company that had kids that were from broken, troubled homes, different situations like that. And so I just chose to take in children, like I said, that I felt like needed more than the norm, more than a roof over their head. They need to see that there's a better side of life, that you do not have to be physically, mentally, sexually abused, and you can still be loved. And that's why I chose to go the route I did. And I've had a host of children through my home. And of course, the ultimate goal is to get them back home in the right environment after counseling or whatever. And and I have to shout out to my last one that I had, Candace, who still calls me mom today, that still calls me. A few months back, she took with me because she saw the need for her to take her niece and nephew in. They were in a bad situation. So she took them in, and she didn't have them 2 days before she was calling me, thanking me for the way I took her in and took care of her and disciplined her. But she was catching it with them. They had only been there a couple of days, and she was about to pull out. And I told her, hey, love them, discipline them, but it's going to be okay. You can pull it through that. And I was just elated that she called me and said that. And even now she'll call and she's having a hard time. And that means a lot to me, because I got her at an age that I couldn't get her to trust in God, unfortunately.
Mhm.
I almost had to kill her to get her to go to church with me. And so I finally decided I wasn't going to fight that battle when she acted up in church one day. And I was like, no, you're not going to mess my spirit up. You can stay at home, because she didn't believe, having seen everything she saw from her mother abusing her brother to the point of death, to all these situations, that she didn't believe in God. So, you find some battles you just don't have, you're not going to fight. So after a while, I didn't fight that. But she and I have a wonderful relationship. She still don't go to church, but that's okay. She's got to find her way. She's grown. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the ones that came into my life, the 18-month-old that I wanted to adopt, to the 15-year-old I'm still mom to. All of them are blessed in my life.
And you've raised your own biological children. You've been a foster mom. You've helped everybody for 30 years in nursing, and you have started an adult daycare. So I think you're just a lazy person that does nothing. But you know what? When you told me what she said, Mama, thank you for how you brought me up. That to me is astounding, that with all of her trauma, God allowed you to break through. That is just amazing. And you also told me that you might not be able to send money, but you could give love.
Exactly.
Whoa, that is just amazing. And that didn't mean just giving everything, this meant discipline, this meant rules, this meant, but always what I understood you to say is, I got your back. I got your back.
God got my back. I got your back. Yeah. And it's so easy. It's so easy. Well, not easy with these times, but it's easier to give money, write a check and think you've done your part. But when you step a little bit further, I didn't have the money to give necessarily, but like I said, I did have love, and I wanted to give that love. I wanted to show that there was a different side to life. And so monetary is fine. And that's where I am now, because right now I can't handle. I'm too old. I don't want to have foster kids no more. So I can
You've
give
done
them. I've
your
done my time. I can give them time, and I do volunteer work at Carl Perkins Center. But I don't want to be I don't want to be raising no more.
Well, that's because you raised so many.
Well, yeah, that's because I'm old and my nerves are bad, Monica.
So what you've done is you've traded them for adults who need care.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because I think you are rolling, lioness and dream queen. At the time that most of us are thinking about retirement, you took a dream and your 401k and opened an adult daycare that is now 4 years old. Exactly. Tell us about that.
Well, again, it stems back to my basic, and that's nursing, being a nurse, and seeing the impact that it has on family when they have loved ones that's in the hospital, and loved ones that mothers that they see their mother body, but their mother mind is not there, or whatever relative. So again, my family was touched with Alzheimer's through my grandmother. She was blessed enough to stay at home. My uncle took care of her, but it took a toll on my uncle. I saw that, so I would try to relieve him from time to time. So, and you're right. I turned old enough to retire in January, and I retired and left in February. I started Golden Years in April.
What?
Yes, ma'am. I to be totally honest, it's a good thing I didn't know it was going to be what it's going to be, or I may not have started, but I am thankful that I am where I am. I went into business not knowing business, and my advice to anyone is whatever you want to go into, do the research too. Don't deter you, just know where you're stepping into. And I was told, take business class in Jackson State. Now I can wing it. Knowledge is power, and if you take your dream, you learn what you can about your dream, then you step out on faith and go with it. So knowing that there wasn't an adult daycare for not particular about adults with dementia, particular Alzheimer, I wanted to start a place that a safe haven that family could bring their loved ones, provide love, care, and companionship. I don't want them sitting at home day in and day out. Doing absolutely nothing. So if they don't do anything but come here and sit in and out, at least they're sitting in and out around other folks. So it was my dream to open up an adult daycare, and I did, and I thank you. It has been 4 years. It doesn't seem like it, but it's 4 years, and I'm still catching it. I'm still learning. But I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for my clients and the caregivers that allow me the opportunity to love on their loved ones and take care of them. So.
That's astounding. And those are not just words, because I've been here before. And what I saw was when I was setting up for the podcast, you went out and played a game with one of your clients until I got the computer ready to go. You always want people to be engaged in doing things. So you went out and did a really fast game and then came back in and we started to talk. I mean, that to me just talks about your protective nature, your just what you have inside. And I thought it was so important to share this with our audience, because we hear all the time about the bad, but what we do at TheBestYou.Site is we focus on the good. We may not make the news, but you all do in a positive way. In a positive way. And so now you're doing different kinds of things. I work in different ministries, all of this, newly married, a mother and grandmother,
Yes.
business owner, and all around just cool lady. All around just cool lady.
Thank you.
Cool lady. What would you want to leave our audience with? What would you want them to, from this conversation that we've had the pleasure of having today, what would you want them to take with them?
Well, there's so much. I would say, again, dream. Don't be afraid to dream. And don't think it's going to be easy necessarily. We want easy. But I'm even thankful for the hard time. I think I told you, Monica, there was a time, this is the first time in 4 years that I've been really kind of able to exhale and have a dollar left at the end of the year. There's been time that I was robbing Peter and Paul to pay John, and John was looking at me like, where's my money? I didn't think I was going to make it. I kid you not. I can tell you about episodes where I was down to my last, and an organization called me the day that I was out in the car crying, thinking I got one more week and I'm going to close, and they were donating me some money. I had written a check and didn't have the money, but they made a donation last December. This was just last December. It had been but a year. Be surprised how things turn around. And there was a voice that said, we want to donate some money to you. And I'm like, I don't care if it's $50, 50 cents, or whatever. God will provide for you. You just have to believe. And that was one of my lowest points. And that's when I realized that, it's okay to dream. It's okay to go for your dream. It's not going to be easy. It has not been easy here at Golden Years, but I have yet to have the lights cut off, the rent's been paid every month. So go with your dreams. If foster care, get some foster kids and love on them. Whatever your dream is, if it's to be married, prepare yourself for marriage. And when I said that, it's easy to say I want a husband, but are you ready to be a wife? And that's where I had to find with that. I wasn't ready to be a wife. So I tell anybody, whatever it is you want, go for it. But don't go for it expecting everything to fall into place. Put God first. Everything else will fall in place, whether it's down to that last penny. And I'm not going to make it to him opening up doors for you. And even right now, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I'm closing my doors at end of the year. I can't take this anymore. And just asking my God to help me out. And now I'm seeing, now that I've changed my mindset, things are going to work out. So I can really pinpoint just one particular thing. All I got to say is trust God, trust yourself, and move on your faith.
Trust God and trust yourself. I also like what you told me. You said it's okay to go down with your ship.
Exactly.
Because it's your ship.
Exactly.
It's your ship. So your ship is the SS Brenda, right? So
my ship is for your Golden Years. And I don't claim it by any means, but there was time I thought it was going down. And just recently, I was ready to jump ship. But as I told you when you walked in, hey, no, ma'am, this is my ship. If it goes down, I'm going down with it. But I don't believe it's going down. God can bring me 4 years to let me down, So I'm changing my way of thinking. Everything happens for a reason. I told you I was down to maybe 5 or 6 clients, and I asked the Lord for an increase in client. And unfortunately, therapeutic center closed. I got bombarded of calls coming in. Now I have the clients to my capacity because of staffing issue. But I didn't ask God for staff. So you be specific with what you want from God. Because I asked him for clients, but I didn't say, please give me the staff to go along with the staff to go along.
Be very, very specific.
So now I retract and say, Lord, thank you for the clients.
Thank you.
But can you please give me some staff? And he will.
And he will. And what else I love about what you said is you said to all of us, you will survive failure.
Exactly.
It's just a part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Not the end of the process, but a part of the process.
And if I don't think if you should get to where you think you fail, then that means God has something better, something else for you. You know, that just wasn't.
Did you hear that, audience? If you fail, God has something better. If you fail, God has something.
Get that next dream and go for it.
Get for that next dream
and go for it.
And go for it. Wow. Audience, I hope that your mind has been blown like mine has been blown, because every time I talk with Brenda, I learn something and I feel strengthened. So no wonder her favorite verse is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Amen. Philippians 4:13. Brenda, thank you for joining us and showing us how to dream big. And let me invade your adult daycare center for a little while.
Thank you. It's been my honor and I tell you, you really made my day on top of my day. But thank you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, it's our absolute pleasure. Audience, would you like to have your story featured like Brenda's is? Submit a 1,000-word story of ordinary people doing mind-blowing things at TheBestYou.Site /contact. This is Monica Ray, thanking you for the privilege of your time.